Okay, Shavua Tov, welcome back. This Amud that we're going to start in Maseches Berachos today is Nun Vav Amud Beis 56b. We're going to start at the fourth line on the page, Shal ben Dama ben Achos shel Rabbi Yishmael. The fourth line of Nun Vav Amud Beis, and we're going to have two sections in today's learning. The first section will have three stories of dreams interpreted by different rabbis. We'll see. Join us, please. And the second section we'll have is particular items that a person has in a dream and the implications of those items. Particular items. If you see certain items, the implications, and also the reaction we'll see, perhaps in order to make it good and not make it bad. A lot of this Gemara that we're going to learn today is we're going to learn it, and then it'll be homework to figure out the pshat, but Bez Hashem, let's get started. We'll daven that we have a good pshat, because it's not an easy whatever. These are complicated things. Let's see. Zog the Gemara, the fourth line on the page. Shoal ben Dama ben Achos shel Rabbi Yishmael. That's Rabbi Yishmael. Ben Dama. So I assume that means his nephew. Right. So ben Dama ben Achos shel Rabbi Yishmael, the son of Dama, who was the son of the sister of Rabbi Yishmael. I wasn't sure. Does that mean that it was his nephew? Yeah. Ben Dama. Is Dama the son of the sister?
Dama is his father.
Father? Yeah?
I mean, okay. Ben Dama is his father, right?
And his father. Okay, I hear. So Ben Dama. Good, I hear that.
Who's Dama?
His father, you're tiny.
His father is a...
Okay. So his nephew, Rabbi Yishmael's nephew, asked Rabbi Yishmael, Ra'isi shnei l'choyai shenishru. I saw in my dream, my two jawbones became disconnected. They fell out. So Rabbi Yishmael said, Shnei gedudei roimi yatzu alecha ra'av amesu. It means two Roman legions, two Roman armies were plotting against you negative things, and they died. So that's, you did good. Yeah. Amalei bar kapar the Rebbe. Bar kapar now said a series of dreams to Rebbe. Ra'isi chotmi shenashar. I saw my nose fell off in a dream. Amar leis, Rebbe said, Charon af nistalik mimcha. Nose is a reference to anger. Anger was removed from you. There was some sort of a kitrug against you, a negative implication, and it was removed. Amar lei, bar kapar said back to Rebbe, Ra'isi shnei yadai shenechtechu. I saw my two hands were cut off in a dream. Amar lei, Rebbe said back, it means you're not going to need your handiwork. It means you'll be so wealthy that you won't even need to rely on your own work, like your hands. Amar lei, bar kapar said back to Rebbe, Ra'isi beis raglai shenekteu. I saw my two legs were cut off in a dream. Amar lei, so Rebbe said back, Al sus ata roichev. You're going to ride on a horse and you won't need to walk. Meaning it's a chashivos actually. Chazai continued, Bar kapar said,
I'll keep my legs.
You'll keep your legs. No, it doesn't mean he's going to lose legs. That's the point. Chazai da amri lei. Bar kapar said to Rebbe, I saw in my dream that it was said, Ba'adar misas v'nisan lechazis, that you'll die in Adar and you won't see Nisan. Now that sounds to have a very negative implication. So Amarle Rebbe said back to Bar kapara, Adrusa misas. It means when you die, you'll die with Adrusa. Adrusa is glory. V'loi asis lidei nisayon. And you won't have to come to any sort of nisayon. So it doesn't mean you'll die in Adar and not see Nisan, but it has a very negative implication.
So he changed it. He changed the Adar to
Adrusa and nisayon, exactly. Now, third story. Amar le'ahut tzeduki l'Rabbi Yishmael. A certain tzeduki. Tzeduki we know is a group of people who only believed in Torah Shebechsav, and also they bothered the Chachamim very often. So the certain Tzeduki came to Rabbi Yishmael. It didn't seem like he wanted to bother him, but rather he wanted him to interpret his dreams. And he said, Ra'isi sha'ani mashke shemen l'zeisim. I saw in a dream that I was pouring oil back into the olive. So it's backwards, it's abnormal. So Rabbi Yishmael said back, Bo'alima. It means you had relations with your mother. It means where you came from, that's where you went back and had relations with. So he told him that's what you have done. Amar Leis, the Tzeduki said, Chazoi, I saw another dream, the katifli kuchva, that I grabbed the star. So Amar Leis, Rabbi Yishmael said to the Tzeduki, Bar Yisrael ganafta, the Jews are compared to stars. It means you kidnapped a Jew. Amar Leis, the Tzeduki said to Rabbi Yishmael, Chazoi, debal'ati lekochva. I saw that I swallowed a star, I absorbed a star. So Amar Leis, Bar Yisrael zavante v'achalta l'dmei. It means you kidnapped a Jew and you consumed the money after selling him that you sold him for. So Amar Leis, the Tzeduki said back, Chazai einai denashka nahadadi. I saw my eyes were kissing each other. Strange vision, but that's what he saw in a dream. Amar Leis, Rabbi Yishmael said back, Bo'al achais, it means you had a relation with your sister. I guess the pshat is like the eyes are close to each other,
So
same flesh. That's the pshat. So Amar le Tzeduki said to Rabbi Yishmael, Chazoi denashki sihara, I saw that I was kissing the moon. So Amar le Boal Eshes Ish, you had relations with an Eshes Ish. Amar le Tzeduki said to Rabbi Yishmael, Chazoi de darichna betuna de asa, I saw that I was trampling in the shade of a hadas tree, of a myrtle bush. So Amar Leis, Rabbi Yishmael said back, Boal nara meorasa. It means that you had relations with a nara meorasa, an engaged young girl. Amar Leis Tzeduki says, Rabbi Yishmael, Chazai tuna me'iloi v'humi tatai. I saw that the shadow of the tree was above me and below me. So Amar Leis, Rabbi Yishmael said back, Mishkivach hafuch. You switched around relations, meaning you had relations also in an unnatural way. Amar le Tzeduki said, Chazai orvi dahadri leporia. I saw in my dream ravens were surrounding my bed. Ravens are known to be not, what's the word? To experience infidelity. I don't know how to say that another word, but they're
animals in general.
Animals in general, ravens. So they were surrounding his bed in a dream. So Amar le, so he said back, Rabbi Shmuel said, Ishtecha zansa me'anashim harbe. Your wife was mizana with many men. Amar le, so the Tzeduki said to Rabbi Shmuel, Chazai yaini dahadri lepori. I saw doves surrounding my bed. Now l'chayra doves we know is the Jewish people are compared to doves. It's a good sign. So Amar le, so Rabbi Shmuel said back, Nashim harbe timesa. You contaminated, you defiled many women. He can't get a break, this Tzeduki. So Amar le Tzeduki said to Rabbi Yishmael, Chazai denaki trei yoni uparchan. I had a dream that I had two doves and they flew away, or they separated. So Amar le tarti nashi nasafta upatarsinun beloy get. It means you married two women and you sent them free without a get. Also very negative. Amar le Tzeduki said to Rabbi Yishmael, Chazai de kalifna ish. Amar le Chazai de kalifna bei. I saw that I was peeling eggs in a dream. Amarle, shechvi kamishlachas, is that you were stripping clothing off of dead people, which is a very lowly thing to do, obviously. You stole clothing of dead people. So Amarle, so the Tzeduki said, aha, I chapped you, because this did not happen. Kulu isnahu bi, all of the things you said are true, bar meha delese, besides this one thing. So clearly, you don't know what you're talking about. But as they were talking, Asya hayitisa, a certain woman showed up, Amrle, and she said to this Tzeduki, Aglima demichsa, the garment that you're wearing, Tegaver pleni hademis, it's of a certain person who had died. Taki, you stole it. Vashlachti, and you stole it. So yeah, well, he stole his garment. This is a lowly thing to do. Okay. Amrle chazai da amrle shavak lechavuch nichsi bekupadkia bekapudkia. So the Tzeduki said, I saw in my dream that they were telling me your father left you assets, left you inheritance, property in Kapudkia. Now Kapudkia is a place. So Amrle, Rabbi Yishmael said to him, Islecha nichsi bekapudkia. Do you have property there? Meaning Yitaka, is it true? Amrle lav. So Tzeduki said, no, I don't. So Shmuel said to him again, did your father ever go there? And he's trying to figure out, was there some implication here that could be reality? So Amrle lav, again, Tzeduki said no. So Imkain Rabbi Yishmael said, if so, the word kaputkia must be an acronym. Very interesting. And it must be as follows. Kappa. Kappa is keshura. Kappa means a beam, Rashi says in Paras and Yavan, in Persian and Greek. Kappa means a beam. Dika, or deka, Dika is Asara, is the 10th. In Rashi says Greek. So therefore it's an acronym for the 10th beam, Kaputkia, the 10th beam. Zil Chazi Kaput Deresh Asara. Go look at the 10th beam, the beginning of the 10th beam from the ground in your house. Shehi Meleya Zuzi. And that's going to be filled with money. Azal Ashkach Shehi Meleya Zuzi. He went and found that it was filled with money. And this is the end of the story. So apparently this Tzeduki did well in the end. He ended up getting, based on the dream, a positive outcome, which is that he ended up getting a lot of money.
He got all these olam hazeh and olam hazeh.
Perhaps that's the reason, right? Yeah. Hashem wanted to give him his tzachar in this world. It could be. That's it. Okay, now we move on to the second section, and we're going to have a series of potential dreams a person could have, the implications, and then what the reaction should be also. So, Amar Rabbi Chanina, Haraya be'er b'chalaim. If somebody sees a well in a dream, Raya shalom. A well is a sign of peace. Shenemar, like the pasuk says, it says, Vayachbru avdei Yitzchak benachal. The servants of Yitzchak dug in the valley, Vayimtzu usham be'er mayim chayim, and they found a well of live water. It means a spring. So it's a very positive sign. Chayim. You see the word chayim is used, so it's a very positive connotation. Rabbi Nassan says no. If somebody sees a well, it actually means he finds Torah. Shene'amar, like the pasuk says, Ki maitzai matzah chayim. Anyone who finds me finds life. Eksiv hacha be'er mayim chayim. And regarding the well, we just said it also says the word chayim. So therefore, if you find a well, you see a well in a dream, it means you're going to be zoicha to Torah. Rav Amar Chayim Mamish. Rav says no, it actually means life, meaning he'll have a long life, he'll have a longevity. Rabbi Chanan says, Shalish Shleimas Hein, there are three things, if you dream about them, it implies you will see peace. Nahar Tzipor Ukedera. If you see a river, a bird, and a kettle. It's the book that's called The River, the Kettle, and the Bird, I think. Who was it written by? I forgot. It's written by somebody about marriage, I believe. So, anyways, if you see these three things, it implies that a person will experience peace. How do we know that there's such an association? So Nahar, because the pasuk says regarding Nahar, it's in Yeshaya, the pasuk says, I will tilt towards you, I'll bring towards you a river of peace. Tzipor, how do we know a bird implies peace? Like it says, Kitzipoirim afos, like flying birds, Kin Yagin Hashem tzvakas v'gaimer, so too Hashem will protect you. Kedera, how do we know a kettle or a pot will imply peace? Like the pasuk says, Hashem tishbais shalom lanu. Hashem will place peace for us, like you set up a pot on top of a stove. So there's peace associated with these three things. Rabbi Chanina says, Uvekedera she'ein ba basar shaninu. It's only where you see a pot in the dream that does not have meat inside of it. Shaninu. How do we know that? Because the pasuk says otherwise, if there's meat in it, it has negative implication. Like it says, Upasu ka'asher besir, they will scatter or spread out like in a pot, ukebasar b'toich kilachas, and like meat inside of the pot. I believe that's what it means. Point is, there, the pasuk there has some sort of a micha, I believe. It has a negative implication, and therefore, if you see meat in the pot, so then actually it would not be a good implication. Amar Yeshua ben Levi, Haraya Nahar B'Chalim. If somebody sees a river in a dream, Yashkim v'Yomer. So now we're going to have a sugya like this. If somebody has a dream, we said before, and he says a pasuk when he wakes up, we said that's a nevuah ketana. It's like a small prophecy, a minor prophecy. So the Gemara says if you have a certain dream and there's an item you see, if you get up and say a pasuk associated with that item, it'll turn the dream into something good. If you say a pasuk with that item that's negative, chas v'shalom, the opposite. So therefore, as we'll go through, there's a good pasuk you should say associated with each item, as we'll see. Amar Yeshua ben Levi, Haraya Nahar B'Chalim. If you see a river in a dream, Yashkim v'Yomi, you should get up and say, Hineni Naitei Leah Kenar Shalom. I will tilt towards you like a peaceful river. So that's a good implication of a river. Kaidem she'ekadmenu pasuk acher. Before he would say a negative pasuk, which is Ki Yavei Kenar Tsar, it will come like a pressuring or a difficult river that you should not say, because that could create a negative reality. Haraya tzipor b'chalim. If somebody sees a bird in a dream, Yashkim v'yom, you should get up and say the pasuk, Kitziporim afas ken yagin, like flying birds, so to Hashem protects you. V'goymer, kaidem she'ekadmenu pasuk acher, before he says an alternative verse, which is, Kitziporim naideres min kana v'goymer, like birds that are shaken out of their nest, etc. Haraya kedera b'chalim. If somebody sees a pot in a dream, Yashkim v'yom, you should get up and he should say, Hashem tishbais shalom lanu. Hashem will place peace for us. Kaidem sheik hadmenu pasuk acher, and not say the other pasuk, which is shevais hasir shefais. It says regarding the destruction or oppression of Yerushalayim, we place like a pot, and there it's a very negative connotation. So don't say that one. Haraya anavim bechalim. If somebody sees grapes in a dream, Yashkim v'yom, you should get up and say ka'anavim b'midbar, like grapes in the midbar, which has a positive connotation. Kaidem she'kadmenu pasuk acher, instead of the other verse, which is anavemai in ve'raish. The grapes are like bitter grapes, which is not a positive connotation. Haraya har bechalim. If somebody sees a mountain in a dream, Yashkim v'yom, you should get up and you should say manavu aleharim ragli mevaser. It says how how wonderful or beautiful are the footsteps of the one who is going to announce Mashiach. So this is a very positive connotation on the mountains. As opposed to the other pasuk, which is Haleharim Esa B'chi Vanehi. On the mountains I will lift crying and woe. If he sees a shofar in a dream, Yashkim v'yom, you should get up and say the pasuk that implies Mashiach. It says, V'haya b'yayim ahu yitaka b'shofar gadol. On that day, the shofar will announce Mashiach. Kaidem she'ekadmenu pasuk acher, before he says the other pasuk, which is Tiku shofar b'giva, which is talking about the armies attacking. It says the shofar announced in Giva, a very negative thing.
You have to go to war.
Haraya kelev, what?
There was a civil war.
A civil war. Haraya kelev b'chalim. If he sees a dog in a dream, Yashkim v'yomer, you should get up and you should say, Ulachol b'nei Yisrael yecheras kelev l'shayim. We just had this, that the dogs didn't bark when the Jews left Mitzrayim. Before he says the other pasuk, which says Va'klavim azei nafesh. It says the klavim, the dogs were azei nafesh, had a crass soul, a harsh soul. They don't want to say that one. If you see a lion in a dream, you should get up and you should say, if the lion roars, who will not have fear? This refers to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in all of his glory, a positive thing. And not say the other verse, which is, it's referring to Nebuchadnezzar. The lion got up from its thicket, and Nebuchadnezzar will conquer and destroy Yerushalayim. That's a very negative thing. He sees himself getting a shave, getting a haircut in his dream. Yashkin v'yom, you should get up and you should say, Yosef was taken out of prison and he became the viceroy. That's a positive connotation. Instead of the verse, Im galachti v'sar mimeni koichi, by Shimshon it says, in the way that you'll remove my strength, if you shave me and remove my strength, that had a very negative implication. If he sees a river, a well in a dream, Yashkin v'yom, should get up and say the pasuk be'er mayim chayim, a well or a spring with flowing water. Instead of the other pasuk, which is ki'akir bir meimeha, like the waters flow from it. It's referring to in the Navi there in Yirmiyah that the destruction and the damage against Yerushalayim will be like an unstopping flow of water from a well. So we don't want to say that one when you see a well. If somebody sees a reed in a dream, Yashkin v'yom, you should get up and say, Kana ratzutz lo yishaver. It's referring to Melech HaMashiach. It will be like a ratzutz is a weak reed, but it will not break. So it's referring to Melech HaMashiach. It's a positive thing. Instead of saying the pasuk that the Melech Ashur sent to be said to Chizkiah, which was, Hine, batachta lecha al mishenes hakana haratzutz. You've relied on this weak reed, referring to you've relied on Mitzrayim, but there was a negative thing. Tanu Rabbanan. Okay, moving on. The Brisa says as follows: Haroya kana bechalim. So now let's speak about implications. If somebody sees a reed in a dream, yetzapel chachma. He should anticipate chachma. He's going to become a chacham. Shneim, like the pasuk says, kana chachma. It's a play on words, but it means he acquires chachma. But it means a reed of chachma. Kanim, if he sees multiple reeds, yetzapel bina. So he gets the next level, which is bina, is being able to extrapolate davar mitoch davar, to understand things one from another. Shenem, like the pasuk says, "V'chol kinyonecha kanech bina." In all of your acquisitions, you'll acquire bina. It's a plural sense. You'll acquire bina. Rabbi Zera says, "Kara," if he sees a pumpkin, kura, or hearts of palm, kira, or he sees kira's wax, kanya, or he sees a reed in a dream, kulu ma'ala lechalma. These are all good dreams.
Akira is a pot too, also.
Akira is a stove, right? Akira, like a tanor and a kirayim, for example. Tanya ein marin deluin el lamishu yirei shamayim b'chol kaichai. A person will only see deluim, pumpkins or gourds in his dream if he's yirei shamayim with all of his strength. So let's talk about gourds all day so that we dream about it at night. Makes us feel good. Haraya shor b'chalma. If somebody sees an ox in a dream, yashkim v'yom, you should get up and say, bechor shoyrei hadrle. It said about Yosef HaTzadik that bechor shoyrei is his glory. Kodim shia kadmenu pasuk acher. Instead of saying ki yigach shoras ish, we don't want to talk about getting gored by an ox. That's not a good connotation. Tan Rabbanan continues the Brisa. Chamisha devarim ne'emru b'shor. There are 5 things regarding one who sees them in a dream. If somebody sees in a dream that he eats the meat of an ox, misasher, he'll become wealthy. If he sees in a dream that the ox is goring him, it's a good thing. It means that he'll have children who are going to gore in Torah. They'll have tremendous ability to argue and to conclude in Torah knowledge. Noshcho. Now, if he sees a dream that the ox is biting him, isurin ba'in alav. Chas v'shalom means he's going to have suffering. Ba'ato, if the ox is kicking him, derech rechayk and his dam nalai, he's going to have to go on a long trip. Rachbai, and the 5th one is, if he sees that he's riding the ox, it means he's going to ascend to greatness. We said in the Brisa, if he sees him self-riding a donkey, he's going to die. It's a negative thing. So lokashya hadarachiv hulatura hadarachiv turadidei. If he's riding the ox, it means he'll go ascend to gedula. But if the ox is riding him, so then he's going to. It's a negative implication of death. It's also impossible. It's also impossible. I guess the ox riding will kill him, so that's the shot. If he sees a donkey in a dream, Yeshua, he should anticipate salvation. Like the pasuk in Zechariah says, Hine malkecha yaver lecha, your king will come to you. Tzadik v'noisha, who he is righteous and salvation. Tzadik v'noisha, who How do you read the pasuk there? Do you have the pasuk on the side? Anyone with the pasuk?
Yeah.
How do you? Can you read this pasuk to me? Hine malkecha yave lecha. Zechariah Tes.
No, in my Gemara is Chaftes.
I don't know either way.
No, the pasuk is not here.
Hine malkecha yave lecha.
Gili me'od bas Tzion.
Okay.
Hori I bas Yerushalayim. Hine malkecha yobo loch.
Okay.
Tzadik ben Nosha hu oni. Berochev al chamor. Al ir ben asonos.
Okay, so Hinene Malkecha Yavelach, your king will come to you. I believe it's referring to Melech HaMashiach.
Right.
Tzadik v'noisha, who?
Tzadik and a
Savior. Who ani v'rochev al chamor.
That's a poor.
He's a poor man and he's riding on a donkey. So we see that salvation is associated with riding on a donkey. That's the point. Okay. Araya chatul b'chalam.
Driving a Cadillac now.
Now you're driving a Cadillac. I hear Taka Melech HaMashiach in a Cadillac. Araya chatul b'chalam. Now, if you see a cat in a dream, so apparently there were two ways to refer to a cat, as we'll see. But asr dekarle shunra. So if you live in a place where they call the cat shunra, so then naasis loy shira noya. People are going to make nice songs for him. It's the breakup of that word. What's that? Like the Agada, right? Shinra, but if they call cat Shinra, na'asele shinay rach. As for Shalom, there'll be some sort of a negative change. Haraya novim bechalim, if he sees grapes in a dream. Levanais, if he sees white grapes, bein bismanon, bein shalai bismanon, whether they're in its time or not in its time. I wasn't sure if it meant that currently you're in the season of white grapes, or it means in the dream you see them whether they're in their time or not. Yafais, but either way the dream is good. Shechayris, but if you see black grapes, apparently black has an ominous implication. Bisman and yafais, if it's in its time, it's good. Shalai bisman and rois, but if it's not in its time, it has a negative implication. Haraya sus, if somebody sees a horse. Lavan b'chalim, if it's a white one in his dream. Bein benachas, bein berodayf, if he sees it calmly walking or quickly walking, yafalay, it's a good implication. Adam, but if it's a red horse, benachas yafeh, so if it's walking peacefully, yafeh, it's a good implication. Berodayf, but it's walking quickly, kasha, that's a negative implication. Haraya yishmoel b'chalim, if he sees Yishmael, it means Yishmael, the son of Avraham, in a dream. How do you know it's Yishmael? He must know. Tfilas and Yishmas, he knows his tefillah will be answered because Yishmael means Yishmakel, God will listen. V'dafka Yishmael ben Avram, but that's only if he sees Yishmael, the son of Avraham. Avaltaya ba'almaloi, but if it's just a general Arab, that's not a good implication. Haraya gamal b'chalim, if he sees a camel in a dream. Misa niknis olamina shamayim v'hitziluhu mimena. So it means that in heaven there was a decree of death against him, and he was saved from it. Amar Rabbi Chama Rabbi Chanina, Mikra. Rabbi Chama Rabbi Chanina says, where do we find a reference that a camel is an implication of being saved from something negative? Mikra, va'anoichi eridimcha mitzrayma, va'anoichi elcha gam aloi. So I believe it was Hashem telling Yaakov Avinu, I will go down with you to Mitzrayim, and I will also ascend gam aloi. So gam aloi is gamal. Gam aloi. Gam aloi. It's an acronym, so put the words together. Gam aloi, I will bring you up, means it's a salvation from something negative. This is another source for this. Gam Hashem ha'avir chatas chalei tamus. Hashem has removed your sin and you will not die. So again, Gam Hashem, you see, Gamal could be a connotation of removing something negative. Haraya Pinchas b'chalim, if he sees Pinchas in a dream. So we know Pinchas, who killed Zimri and Cosby, he experienced wonders. So Pela na'asaloi, a wondrous thing is going to happen to him. Haraya Pil b'chalim, if he sees an elephant in a dream, Pilois na'asuloi, so wonders, plural, will happen to him. Pilim, if he sees many elephants in a dream, Pile Pilois na'asuloi, wonders, many wonders will happen to him. V'hatanya asks the Gemara, but we said in a Braisa, Kol minei chayas yafin l'chalim chutz min ha'pilo min ha'kaif, that any animal is a good thing to see in a dream besides for elephants and monkeys. And for the Gemara, like Kashya, had misareg, had l'loy misareg. If the elephant has a saddle, so then it's considered a good implication, turning to Menzayin Amud Aleph. And if it doesn't have a saddle, then that's considered a negative implication.
It's a hard ride.
A hard ride, I guess either way.
With no
saddle.
place to sit.
We'll stop here, top of Menzayin Amud Aleph. We'll pick up with dreams tomorrow with Menzayin Amud Aleph. Everyone have a wonderful day.